2017, a year in football where one play touchdown ends the game pretty much for a team. Wait, not that one. That one. So, it's time to get the 2017 SEC tournament going. So, our first matchup is Auburn. Alabama, for the first time, is not the number one seed in these tournaments. Auburn is taking on Tennessee. My prediction for the SEC championship matchup is going to be Georgia versus Alabama. So, let's see what happens. This was the year that Auburn beat two number one teams in a matter of 3 weeks, so anything could happen. They also lost to Clemson and LSU, so I don't think they're going to lose to Tennessee. But, yeah, I was about to say, it was a close one, 24-17. Let's see what happened here. Jared Garantano, 155 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. John Kelly led the team in rushing. Ty Chandler had the only touchdown for them. Jarrett Stidham, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, no picks. Kerryon Johnson, 55 yards rushing. Ryan Davis led the team in receiving. So, Auburn, the first non-Alabama team to get the second round bye. Next up, we'll have Alabama take on Vanderbilt. You may be asking me, JT, Georgia won the SEC championship this year. Why are they not the number one seed? Well, Alabama, Auburn, and Georgia all had the same conference record. So, I just had to pick it on tiebreakers. And Auburn beat both Alabama and Georgia. And Auburn beat Alabama not as bad as they beat Georgia. They beat Georgia 40-17. They beat Alabama like 26-14. So, that's the way I did it. And Alabama won 31-17. So, they're going to the next round. Next, Georgia takes on Arkansas. This sim pulls some shenanigans and makes us lose to Arkansas. I'm going to freaking lose it. Let's see. No, we shut them out. Good deal. And we won all 3 times. Cool. 31-0. That's what we love to see. Austin Allen, 79 passing yards, 2 interceptions. David Williams, 51 rushing yards, no touchdowns. Jake Fromm, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Seems about right. Nick Chubb and Sony Michel both got a touchdown. But they were both under 100 yards rushing. And they didn't have 100 yards combined. Jake Fromm, 21 rushing yards. That's uncharacteristic. Terry Godwin and Charlie Warner had the receiving touchdowns. Rodrigo Blankenship, 1 for 1. Let's go. All right. Georgia makes it to the next round. We have, next up, LSU taking on Florida. I mean, they kept them in the game. They lost 17-7, though. Felipe Franks, 149 yards, under 50% completion percentage, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Mark Thompson led the team in rushing. Freddie Swain had the only touchdown. Danny Etling, 179 passing yards and a touchdown. Darius Geis, 119 yards, no touchdowns. Danny Etling had the other rushing touchdown. DJ Chark had a rushing touchdown. Goodness, excuse me. All right. Next round, we got South Carolina taking on Ole Miss. Ole Miss somehow pulled off the victory, beating them 24-23. What? Shea Patterson, the soon-to-be Michigan quarterback, threw for 348 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Their running game was non-existent. Receiving, Jordan Wilkins and DeMarcus Lodge. Yeah, that's about right. Jake Bentley had a good game. 337 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running game did not good. I guess they just got... Hold on. Is this going to be like 2015 again? Let's see. Bryan Edwards, 29-yard touchdown catch. Shea Patterson, DeMarcus Lodge, 17 yards touchdown. Parker White field goal. Wonderlick field goal. Bryan Edwards receiving touchdown. Shea Patterson, another pass, but this time to Jordan Wilkins for a 66-yard touchdown. Jordan Wilkins, touchdown. Parker White field goal. And then they just could not do it. What the heck, dude? Okay, Ole Miss with a big upset goes to the next round. Next up, we have Texas A&M taking on Missouri. In a big upset, looks like the one simulation that they win. How'd they pull that off? Drew Lock, are you kidding me? 251 passing yards and 5 touchdowns. In the other 2 years that we've had him on here, he's been anemic. Rushing yards, Ish Witter, 75 rushing yards. Jamon Moore, 127 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Kellen Mond, 145 passing yards and a touchdown. If this didn't get Kevin Sumlin fired, I don't know what would. Let's see. And they do. Kentucky, 17-14. Goodness. Steven Johnson, 133 yards and no touchdowns, no picks. Steven Johnson and Benny Snell both had a rushing touchdown, though. Let's see. Nick Fitzgerald, 147 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Aris Williams, had 44 rushing yards, led the team. Jamal Couch had 2 touchdowns. Okay, 3 upsets in a row. So going into round 2, Auburn gets the bye. You'll have Alabama taking on Ole Miss, Georgia taking on Missouri, and LSU taking on Kentucky. So, I'll see you then. They won. Wasn't a blowout, though. They won 34-28. What's going on? Shea Patterson, 384 yards, 4 touchdowns, and interception. That interception probably cost them. Running game was anemic. Van Jefferson had a good day, the future Florida wide receiver. Jalen Hurts, 187 yards and 2 touchdowns. Led the team in rushing at 131 yards and a touchdown. Hale Hintages led the team in receiving with 75 yards. All right, Alabama goes to the next round. My prediction stays alive. Next, Missouri was the team that put the most points on Georgia besides Auburn and Oklahoma. So they have a chance. I don't want them to win. I want Georgia to win, but we'll just have to see. Drew Lock did have a crazy game last game. No, Georgia shut it down real quick, beating Missouri 49-14. That's what we love to see. Drew Lock, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. That's more like the Drew Lock we know and love. Ish Witter had 82 rushing yards. Jake Fromm, 261 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's uncharacteristic. I'm not sad about it, but uncharacteristic. Nick Chubb, 111 rushing yards and a touchdown. That's more like it. DeAndre Swift got in the action with 3 yards and a rushing touchdown. Javon Wims, 2 receiving touchdowns. Nick Chubb 1, Tyler Simmons 1, and Mecole Hardman 1. All right, Georgia to the next round. I would not be surprised if Kentucky just came out and blew out LSU here, but I don't know. We'll just see. What did I say? Kentucky 38, LSU 10. My gosh, Kentucky. All right. They get the upset and will face Auburn in the semifinals. Georgia will face Alabama. So, see you on the next round. Here we go. Auburn taking on Kentucky. Can Kentucky keep the upset train going with another upset of Auburn? Let's see. No. Auburn won 21-0. Shut out Kentucky. Let's see. Steven Johnson, 159 passing yards, no touchdowns and interception. It was a good run for Kentucky. I'm proud of them. Auburn, 169 yards passing for Jarrett Stidham and a touchdown. Cam Martin had the 45 rushing yards. All right. Now Alabama hosting Georgia. Real life in the national championship, Georgia was beating Alabama soundly while they had Jalen Hurts in, but when they put two in, we all know what happened. So, Georgia, come on, man. Do it for me. Yes! Georgia going to the next round. Beats Alabama 26-17. 11,000 simulations. How about that? Jake Fromm, 248 passing yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 108 rushing yards and a touchdown. And that's all they needed. Jalen Hurts had 2 touchdowns and 232 yards, but it wasn't enough. Georgia goes to the SEC championship to face off against Auburn like they did in real life. Come on, Dogs. Get us the win here. And it'll get us into the playoffs. At number 3. Yes! Georgia going to the playoffs. Jake Fromm, 180 yards and a touchdown. Sony Michel, Nick Chubb, and Elijah Holyfield got a rushing touchdown. Mecole Hardman got the only receiving touchdown. They're going to the playoffs, and they will face none other than Oklahoma. Let's see if Georgia can pull it out. No. Sadly, they lose to the Sooners in Oklahoma. Jake Fromm, under 50% of his passes, 231 yards and a touchdown. Did not have the rushing performance they had in real life. And just couldn't get it done. Baker Mayfield, 378 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Just wasn't meant to be, I guess. So now, with Alabama out of the playoffs, who's going to play Clemson? Tigers will play the 11-2 Ohio State Buckeyes. They were number 5 in real life, so without Alabama, they got to be jumped up. So, let's see if Ohio State with JT Barrett. Yeah, they make it to the title. JT Barrett, 4 touchdowns, 325 yards passing. Rushing could have been better, but they kept Kelly Bryant in check, 153 passing yards, a touchdown, interception. So the national title game is going to be Oklahoma versus Ohio State in a rematch from the regular season game. It's going to be interesting. Let's see what happens. Ohio State gets another chance in the playoffs. And Oklahoma trying to get their first national title since 2000. Let's see. Oklahoma beats them in a blowout, 52-7 in Atlanta. JT Barrett, 116 passing yards, a touchdown. Baker Mayfield, 5 touchdowns and over 400 yards. So the Sooners are your national champions. All right, cool. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for 2018. JT out.